Thanks for questions.
All right, no far away.
Hey, Coach David Hook, Santucci's coming from Texas A&M, and him and Mike Elko have been together for quite a while. How much do you watch for Texas A&M game? How much do you watch Elko do to try and get a feel for what you'll see Monday night?
Yeah, I've done some of both. You know, I know they've coached with each other in their time. You know, just in their history. So mostly been the Duke film, but we've done our due diligence with this amount of time to go back and watch some A&M and just see if there's anything we need to uncover there. But you know, both very good defensive minds. Obviously, they got some continuity and some chemistry with one another. So be a fun challenge for us.
What did they do so well last year? That 26 turnovers or something like that enabled them to force turnovers.
Well, I think first of all, I think their guys play extremely hard. You know, and I think that's the type of kids that they have, and I think their staff's done a great job. You can tell they put a lot of emphasis on that. So, I mean, they got a lot of people swarming to the ball. You know, generally when you do that, good things are probably going to happen. You know, I think some of the activity that they present up front, you know, got a lot of snaps under their belt with some of those guys in the interior of their defensive line, you know, specifically. So, you know, those guys they're active, and so I think they are able to kind of free up some of the other players, you know, within their scheme that allows them to kind of play football and make some plays that way. So, yeah, I mean, they're an active group, you know, really from top to bottom, everybody you see out there.
How have you guys been able to
get where you wanted to be? Do you feel like when you came in and you had a vision for this offense and you and Dabo talked about the vision for it, are you where you wanted to be right now as we sit here a few days away from kickoff? How has the team progressed and helped even maybe change and create a new dynamic for this offense with their own identity?
Yeah, no, I mean we've progressed a lot since my first, you know, few weeks here. You know, so I think we're in a great spot going into it. I think we've got a lot of different guys that are capable of making a lot of plays for us. You know, continuity and chemistry up front. You know, so I think we're in a great spot going into game one. We're excited. I'm excited to see our players play. You know, seeing them grind every single day against that defense that we're going up against it's been a treat. I mean, it's a lot of fun for me as a coach to sit there and watch those two units battle it out every single day. But really excited to see our guys just play under the lights and play in a real game. So, yeah, I mean, I think we've done a lot. I think we've accomplished a lot. I think we have a pretty good grasp of kind of who we are at this point in time. But now it's time to go see that, you know, on the real field.
That dynamic, though, of your vision for the offense and then the talent and skill set that is here in the building, how have they made your vision of an offense their own unique entity and living, breathing organism that an offense becomes with a team and their identity?
Yeah, I mean, every offense, every team's different, so this one's certainly going to be more different than the ones I've been around. But I think we've got guys that have bought into this deal since day one. There's no question about it. You know, and I think they've kind of have seen and practiced so far that we got a lot of different people that can make plays. You know, and I think that's probably the biggest thing of, you know, if you ask me today, our identity is I think we're pretty well-rounded and got a lot of different guys that can make some things happen. So, you know, our guys have certainly bought into that.
What do you think the most important thing you learned from camp, just compared to what you were thinking going in?
It's a good question. Probably just more about what can our guys handle. You know, I mean, fall camp, we had a lot of new guys here compared to what we had in spring football. So, you know, that was probably the biggest thing for me is just kind of figuring out these new people, how they fit, guys that were hurt that were back in fall camp, actually seeing them rep and just seeing how we think we can piece them together and put the best 11 out there, you know, for us offensively, you know, and who are those people and what can they handle. That was kind of the early thing that we needed to iron out as much as we could, you know, there in fall camp.
What did you learn about Adam Randell and what he can handle?
Yeah, Adam's, I mean, just very physically gifted person, you know. I mean, he's a big man. He can really run. He's physical, you know, and he's hungry. You know, it's a motivated person that's, that's hungry to be great. And so, it's been great getting him back out there this fall camp. He's gotten a ton of reps and, has handled a lot of different things in a short amount of time. So, yeah, everything's been positive with Adam so far. Yeah, I'm excited about them. I mean, we've got guys that have played. I mean, you got some young guys that maybe have played a little bit, but not a lot, right? And then we've got some just guys that have not played, some totally new guys. But I think we got versatility. That's probably the first thing I think about coming away from fall camp is we've got people that can stretch the field. We've got size. We've got some little jitterbug kind of quickness type people. So I like the versatility, just as a whole and as a unit there with kind of that top 6, top 8 guys. Yeah, he's fearless. He's fast. He's savvy. He's all the things you want with kind of his size and the position he plays. But I think, what sets him apart is he's a fearless player, and he's not afraid of contact and things like that. Which is impressive, for his size, number one, but number two, just as a true freshman. Yeah, there's some similarities. He's probably a little more physical. He's heavier. But they have some similarities with their game. But I would say he's probably a little bit more of a physical person when he runs the ball and blocking and sort of those things of the physicality part of the game at wide out, but they have some similarities for sure.
Speaking of the blocking part at receiver, what's your sort of evaluation of the evolution of that through camp to now?
Just how they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of what we do, and those guys have bought into that part and know that if they handle their business out there, things will come their way because of that. Our run game will hopefully explode because of that. And so I think those guys are eager to do it. And so I know that's been a big part of what we've done since spring ball with that group and that part of our game.
What is his progression in terms of quickly identifying those?
Yeah, he's in a good spot. Yeah, he's in a good spot mentally. Again, I think just the nature of what we do and how we practice. That's kind of the whole goal of our system for the quarterback is to make him comfortable that way. Probably a little bit harder nowadays in college football, especially with some of the pre-snap reads and things of that nature. A lot of defenses make it pretty tough on you, so it's a lot of post-snap reads this day and age. But he's in a great spot mentally there for what we do and what we ask of him.
Cade told me that
He likes to watch film. He's always got the iPad out, and he's a student. What is that something that sets the great quarterbacks apart? Is that they actually enjoy that part of the game? And what have you seen out of him? And not only being able to watch film, but being able to grasp what he's looking at.
Yeah, that whole group they're all eager to watch film, and they're always kind of watching together as quarterbacks, and so that's pretty cool as a coach to see. When you have that many, not just your starter, it's really that whole group is doing it, and so what it's done is obviously it helps them prepare and elevates their play, but now all of a sudden, other position groups are doing it, and they're doing it together. And it's not us as coaches having to be in there to meet with these guys. You got quarterbacks running meetings with receivers and tight ends and running backs. That's kind of been our deal throughout the whole summer, and that's obviously carried over here just as we're getting into a game week now. But yeah, I think hungry and just having the eagerness to do that is kind of one thing, but now them actually getting enough out of it and maximizing their time as players and as student athletes, that's just what we got to manage as we get through the season. But yeah, the great ones obviously are going to do that at that position.
What have been the key ways that Hunter Helms
Yeah, he's just in the last calendar year, I know he's done a lot just physically. You know, I think it probably starts there. Physically, he's kind of changed his body. He's in a much better spot with you know, his skill set, what we require and ask him to do at that position. But, you know, just really since I've been here, I think the main thing that's improved for him is just accuracy and quick decisions. You know, I mean, quick processing and us having confidence in him to do that. Those would be the first two things that would come to my mind.
Why do you guys have so much confidence in that case?
Well, those two guys are just really, really good football players. You know, they can handle a lot, and they're obviously different. But again, I think the nature of just what we do and kind of what we're committed to, and they're going to be a huge part in the running game and passing game and just all of it. You know, but those are certainly two of our best players, and so they're going to play a ton, and the goal is to have a ton of productivity out of those guys. So yeah, we're very high on both of them.
Would you rather face a non-conference opponent to start the season, or do you like playing a league game that counts as meaningful?
It ain't my choice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we'll go play whoever's on schedule. So I'm excited. I know it's a great challenge and a great test for us. And go play an away game one, and go play a really, really good opponent. You know, it's going to be awesome. I know they'll obviously be excited to play. We will as well. But, yeah, I mean, whoever they put on our schedule, let's go do it.
How deep do you think y'all are on the offensive line in terms of guys that you can throw into competitive situations?
Yeah, we've come out of camp, you know, really about 10 to 12 guys you could see playing for us. You know, I mean, I think as you narrow it down a little bit more, certainly 8 to 9, you definitely have a lot of confidence in. So I think we're in a good spot in terms of depth and having some chemistry up there, even with some of the, you know, backup type guys of people that have some versatility to them and could move different positions depending on what happens or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we've got, I would say, 8, 9 guys for sure that you got a ton of confidence in.
Where do things stand at left tackle right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Tristan Lee's done a good job for us. You know, Colin Sadler, they've been battling it out all fall camp, all spring. So, you know, I mean, those guys deserve to both play. I mean, so they're certainly both going to play in this game. You know, but I would say we're going into it knowing we're hoping to play 8, 9 guys for sure. You know, really no matter how it's going. Yeah, he's great. I mean, he just has such a unique presence about him. You know, but he's a steady guy for our players. You know, obviously knowing his history and having been through it himself and just all the different experiences and situations he's had, you know, he's certainly a good person for our players to bounce things off of, or just to kind of have that presence over there. So he's done a great job. He's done a great job helping me, and you know, glad he's here.
Kind of going down to watch the Tennessee game. I didn't realize that night Cade had 74. I don't think he's with the football either. You know, running or throwing. Obviously, you don't want the ball, you know, with him that much. But do you kind of have an idea? You know, yeah, we'd like to run 5 times a game or 7, or does it just really depend on the flow of the contest?
Yeah, it just depends on flow of the game. You know, what you feel like you need. You know, obviously we want to protect our quarterback no matter who's in there. So you just gotta weigh the risk reward, right? But you know, we're gonna do whatever it takes to win. But yeah, don't really go into a game saying, all right, it's got to be just, you know, this amount of runs or anything like that. It's really just more what's going to put us in the best situation to move the football and score ultimately. So yeah, it's kind of whatever it takes. But obviously, you got to be mindful of, you know, not putting too much on them.
Are there a lot of read option type concepts in your offense? And you know, if there are, how does Cade read that? Does he do a pretty good job with it?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly things where he has an option to keep it, or you know, some design things schematically. But yeah, I mean, he's an athlete now, you know, and so you want to utilize his skill set as best you can, but you also got to make sure that you're not overdoing it with him. So that's just the balance as coaches and with our game plan going into each week is what you have to weigh. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly got the skill set to be a weapon with his feet.
Any questions for Coach from Zoom?
Ross, this is going I just wanted to know what it's like working with me and where have you seen progress since you guys first got there?
Yeah, that's a good question. I just think his poise is in a good spot right now. I mean, just the command and just kind of taking over a leadership role would be what's been fun to see just since the little time that I've been here from spring and summer and fall camp, just how he's really grown into that role and kind of taking that on, and people actually listen to him, all that stuff. So been pleased with that, and then in terms of the actual football part, it's just really getting comfortable with what we do. It was all kind of new at first, and then new once we got to summer, it would really start to slow down for him, and then certainly into fall camp, as we just really get honed in on what we're doing and what our guys are good at. So, just kind of really seeing him settle in and get comfortable and do things more efficiently and quicker and all that stuff. You could really just compare and contrast fall camp to spring football. It's quite a difference. Yeah, I mean, his leadership style, he's an energetic person anyways. I mean, you almost got to calm him down sometimes. He's just so amped up. Which is certainly not a bad thing. But, yeah, I mean, I think he just has the confidence and the comfort level now with himself and just knowing what we're about, knowing what we're after, knowing what it's supposed to look like. I mean, he can certainly hold people accountable, and, he's not afraid to do that. So, yeah, that's been, great to see here in the early stages with him.
We talked about it level, but just personally talked about the ability to bounce back after that play and how you see that manifest itself. It's really very important.
Yeah. To me, that's one of the best traits a quarterback can have, right? Is to have a short-term memory and have confidence in himself that he's going to bounce back and make the next play. And so I think Cade really understands that. I think truly deep down that's just been ingrained in him for a long time now. But I think that's certainly one of the best characteristics you can have at that position. And so, yeah, we've seen glimpses of that just throughout spring and summer and fall camp and all that. So, I would certainly, echo that with Coach Sweeney.
Anybody else for Coach Riley?
Field, yeah, usually field. Just kind of always believed in that to be able to look at your quarterback more than anything, but just to have that presence down there. I mean, certainly you can see some things up top, a little bit better than you can on the field at times, but I just think being down there and having that presence and really looking at your quarterback and looking at the offense as a whole and just kind of more the feel of the game too. Sometimes up top, that's something you do lose is you're so remote almost that sometimes those things can be a little tougher. Yeah, I mean, I think just personnel-wise, with what we have, we got a chance to stretch people and attack them vertically, horizontally, in the run game, kind of everywhere. That's always the hope. But I think we certainly have the personnel and the capability to do that. So, that's why I'm really excited to see him play and to kind of get this going. But yeah, I think we've got weapons over the middle and just kind of outside, all of it. So we just gotta go do it, gotta go compete and play and not just do it against Clemson's defense in practice. So about time we go do it versus somebody else.
Anybody else?
All right, thank y'all.